She kicked open the doors for virtual women everywhere.
Someone asked me who Lara Croft is. I'd have to say that she's the infamous female adventurer.
And broke every rule.
For them to have a female character was something very, very different, and people said we were mad. I mean, there was very heated discussions.
Real-life legends wanted a piece of her.
Bono called us. He wants to have Lara Croft in the Pop Mark tour.
And she became every boy's fantasy.
My mom is very worried. I haven't had a date in a long, long time. Lara Croft is very, very real to me. My friends say she's too real.
Her beauty caused a backlash.
She's unproportioned. That's not natural. You know, physics it doesn't work like that.
While her adventures inspired millions.
Lara is a fantasy. She is what everybody wants to be, boy or girl. She represents an Indiana Jones type character where you can go out and find something, hunt it down, take care of the baddies, and then prevail over evil.
This is the story of a sexy, kick-ass character who became a virtual goddess. Prepare yourself for Lara Croft.
Don't you think you've seen enough?
In 1988, the world of video games is pretty limited.
For the most part, there were very rigid genres. There was fighting genres, there was role-playing games, sports games, and driving games.
Confident he could make better games, Jeremy Smith, a 27-year-old computer salesman, uses an inheritance to start his own game development company. His kid brother soon joins the ride.
People would come to Core Design with a concept or a game idea. So for a good 4 years, we were developing games, some of the old classics, Rick Dangerous and things that sort of went out and that we developed, but not on a Core Design name.
After years of developing, the brothers decide to come up with some concepts of their own. They release Thunderhawk and a few other successful titles. And by the mid-1990s, the red-hot Core Design is adopted by gaming giant Eidos Interactive. And just in time, because the brothers are preparing to drop a bombshell on the entire video game industry.
We sort of still have to wake ourselves up and pinch ourselves that we, you know, very sort of created this character.
This character comes from a brand new concept.
For the most part, the landscape of gaming was more of the same, meaning it was more of what people had been accustomed to from the Nintendo Super System and the Sega Genesis.
People keep forgetting this is the one that established 3D character-based action adventure. This is it.
There were lots of what we'd call first-person character games around where, you know, you're just the eyes of the character, you don't actually see the body of the character. And we really wanted to move it to the next level.
And where will this new character live?
And we had this idea that we wanted to be a sort of an adventurer, and we go to these strange, bizarre places in the world, but so let's do it through a video game.
And this new adventurer, what would he be like?
And we wrote down things like we wanted the character to have an agility, a coyness. We wanted people to relate to the character. We wanted them to be vulnerable. We didn't want the character to be sort of a muscle-bound superhero.
The closed minds began to open.
And when we wrote all it down, it actually was a woman.
The idea of having a woman play the lead character in an action game stirs controversy.
We were very conscious that up until then, 95% of the game-playing public, you know, sort of 7 years ago, were male. And for them to have a female character was something very, very different. And people said we were mad. I mean, there was very heated discussions.
Very revolutionary, and it was extremely risky at the time. Nobody realized what the impact would be on the game.
A young graphic artist at Core is given the lucky assignment of creating this female heroine.
Keep in mind, the person who created Lara Croft was an 18-year-old boy from England. And like any 18-year-old boy, he has some images of women that, you know, pop up in his mind.
And those looks are raising eyebrows, questions, and much, much more.
And I get asked the question a lot, you know, proportionally, why does she look like she looks? It's done for a reason, and that reason being that, you know, proportionally she's drawn like that so that actually people notice her features.
And boy, do they notice.
if we made her waist a little bit larger, she just looks like a cylinder. She looks like, you know, you don't notice anything.
But this babe is more than just a smoking body.
This character being a sort of a gymnast, an athlete, that was something that we wrote down in this paper. We wanted this person to be able to jump large gaps. We wanted to have that fluidity and slinkiness, really, in how she moved.
Every hot-bodied virtual female ass kicker needs a good name. How about Laura Cruz?
We thought it'd be far more attractive for the American people to pay an English character as opposed to an American character. So we changed the name to Lara Croft. We thought Croft was very sort of upper crust British.
Lara Croft is an heiress who turns her back on high society to explore archaeological finds across the world. The game, named Tomb Raider, offers a beautiful character set in a world of true 3D thrills.
Suddenly people could be in that room and they could look around, whereas before it'd just be purely a 2D game which moved left and right of the screen.
And it blends action and adventure like never before. You have these true 3D environments. You have a character that you can maneuver and control.
It's time to debut the voluptuous heroine.
We went to the Consumer Electronics Show and we displayed it, and the buzz was amazing. Literally, the game took off.
And there was just throngs of people in front of it.
Tomb Raider is released on PC, Sega Saturn, and PlayStation in late 1996. Lara Croft sets out on her first adventure to find the Scion, a treasured artifact from Atlantis. The game creates its own category.
It wasn't just fighting, it wasn't just role-playing game, it was all those together and formed a new genre, action-adventure. Core was successful in being able to not only position the camera behind Lara Croft as she runs to give you these beautiful panoramic cinematic views.
And those panoramic views of 15 massive 3D levels, as well as the smashing gameplay, propel sales. Lara's natural assets aren't overlooked either.
When you go to see films, you don't see crusty old grandmas in the lead roles. You see beautiful people. In this case, Lara Croft's a female, so why not make her literally and figuratively bigger than life?
But it's her ass-kicking mentality that really turns gamers on.
She takes no crap, for lack of a better word, from males. She's in there to win it. She's basically enters every situation to come out on top.
So make some room, boys, because Lara Croft has arrived.
I remember going to the local store and seeing people walking out with the game and queuing to buy the game, and I was just standing there thinking, this is so bizarre.
Tomb Raider sells more than 1 million copies in less than 4 months.
She was kind of a bigger-than-life force. She really drove the boat, actually. We just kind of hopped on and went along for the ride.
But every good character needs a good nemesis.
There was a site that was strictly set up to essentially exploit Lara.